person here. Aleppo Township,
Present.
Avalon, Bell Acres, Bellevue,
Here.
Ben Avon. I see Tavia's here.
I'm done here.
Edgeworth. I see Alan's here.
Oh, sorry, present.
Emsworth,
Here.
Glen Osborne,
Here.
Glenfield,
Here.
Hayesville, Kilbuck,
Here.
Leet,
Here.
Leetsdale, Sewickley, Sewickley Heights. That's a quorum.
Okay, I don't see any visitors as the internet flicks on the screen. So far, so good. So let's move on to approval of the February 19th, 2025 meeting minutes. It was in your packet. I hope everybody had a chance to read it. I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the approval of the February financial report, unpaid bills, and the payroll summary. I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion, Patrick?
We are pretty much all the way up for our dues. I think only one or two communities need to send them in, so good shape in that front. Status quo, I mean, it's heavy grant season right now, so we'll be seeing transactions in and out with our community development accounts, but all in good shape right now. Thank you for everyone that's paid their dues.
Okay. Anybody else have questions on the bills or the payroll? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Hi. Hi.
Again, moving along. President's report. Patrick sent out a packet to all the municipalities, and it was about the Tree Pittsburgh giveaway. I just think this is a wonderful, personally, I think this is a wonderful activity for communities, for individuals in our communities. So I hope we get the word out. I think you have to register beforehand for
You do.
what you want and just come pick it up. It's in the Avalon municipal parking lot. And what's the date, Patrick? Is it
So the
April?
date is April 12th.
Okay,
I'll go in a little further detail on as far as how people register. I can even show it and share the screen for everyone too.
okay. And at this point in time, also, I love also seeing we have new communities or another surrounding community that wants to join the COG. I'm gonna put on my old fart hat and say, I remember when the communities were leaving the COG. And I must say this COG, where we are now, and a lot thanks to Patrick, we're moving forward with things that are important to our communities. We're getting things done. We're getting grants applied for and achieved for our communities and all kinds of activities. So I think that people want to join us is wonderful and says a lot for who you are. And again, thank you to Patrick for all you've done. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you. And yeah, really excited to work with some new communities here. I even have some more news in that front too.
Oh, good.
We'll touch base now.
Hey, Route 65 update.
No report this month. I am expecting a few guests. I guess there was an issue with the meeting link that I sent out. But if you recall, last meeting, we had a few representatives from the Leadership Pittsburgh Initiative regarding a partnership with the Manchester Cities Corporation and sort of their community outreach as far as understanding what impacts the potential improvements of Route 65 will have. So I'm not sure if they're on the call yet, but hopefully that new link I sent out will work for them.
Okay.
But no other report
great.
than that.
Well, we welcome them, certainly,
And I
when
would
they're
note,
able to get in.
I would note that Roberta and Maria also joined in. So
Oh, nice. How many?
they were up to 12.
Good, good. It's nice on a beautiful 81-degree day in March. That won't last long. Okay, moving on to the emergency preparedness.
Yeah, so we did meet, last month on the 26th of February. Barbara, did you want to highlight some of the topics? I mean, really, we talked about the emergency operations plan and Paul, did you want to highlight anything else?
Well, one thing that I did want to talk about, Bill Monsky did bring up. He went to the emergency, I guess it's held by the county emergency planners meeting.
Yeah.
And you pick one thing that you think you can accomplish. Well, Glenn, he picked, and it was not brought up in our, I think it was mentioned in our meeting.
Mhm.
He brought up that he would like to have a generator, a way to, when the light goes off at the Hayesville light, Glenn Osborne has to go get a generator to restart that light if the electric goes out. And sometimes the generator is with the police, sometimes the generator now is with Jeremy. But, and then somebody has to find a key, so there's timing there. When the light is out, and that's a very dangerous intersection anyways, more so.
Okay, guys, get in the car.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, and so his plan is to work up a generator that would automatically come on for when the lights go off and would stay on for around 8 hours. And when that happens, the generator there also will work the train, the gates that go up and down, so. He doesn't expect it to happen all at once, but it will happen in probably in the next few years. He's working on it.
Very good. And the committee will meet again on April 23rd. Again, Hayesville, Glenfield, Glen Osborne will get together and we'll talk about just kind of where they're at in bringing up their plans to the, well, I guess even now it's even newer because the new operations plan is going on now for the county. So,
Yeah,
yep.
Okay.
Well, what's the expected cost of that generator?
I am not sure. If Bill is working on it, that's, he is an engineer that does make machines like that. So it might be one of his company that is
okay.
working on, I
So it's
don't
gonna
know.
be sort of custom
Yes,
for us.
it will be,
Okay.
it will be.
It'd have to be a pretty big generator. Because if you're gonna include the arms for the railroad, that takes quite a bit. We've got generators for all of our traffic lights. And you don't need a key or anything else. We got an extension cord, you plug it in and it runs. Cause the state changed all those lights to LEDs.
Yeah,
So it doesn't take much power to run the traffic lights. So our firemen have the generators. They go out, they go down and chain it to the telephone pole so it doesn't disappear.
I know,
And then
that has happened.
Yeah. I'm sure, because I noticed Ross does that. Every light in Ross Township set up for a generator. But they don't have them sitting there. Their fire police run around and hook them up. So it's easier. The generators run 8 hours on gasoline. So
That's what we have right now, is
Yeah.
one that runs on gas.
yeah. So usually they get the power back on, but that the electricity to the safety bars is probably a different source than the traffic lights. And that's where you're gonna run into trouble with.
I asked that question and he said they are PennDOT connected them to the traffic lights. Now, I wouldn't know, but I wondered that myself.
Yeah, to me.
I always thought the
railroad
bars
never
were-
plays nice with anybody.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see how that works. I do want to say, we did have some issues with the link that I sent out to our guests. But Mark and Ramona are here from the
Good.
Leadership Pittsburgh Initiative. So, Mark, Ramona, the floor is yours.
All right. So yeah, I know we met or we're here at the last month meeting. So just kind of following up. Had a conversation with Patrick yesterday. So I think we're going to target most likely the May meeting to do a more comprehensive presentation. Maybe in April, but I think probably more likely the May meeting to do, like I said, do a more comprehensive presentation. Right now. Our big thing is, I think we had mentioned there's a big group of us. This is only a small number of us that are on here now. Ramona and also Dana are on, just to listen. But we're planning on doing a lot more outreach and really hitting the ground running with that here in the next week or so. So there's about 24 of us or so that maybe doing that outreach to different communities, and we've kind of split up the communities a little bit across the corridor and across the COG. So all of the communities should be hearing from someone from our group. So I think with that being said, one of the things that we did just want to get some feedback on is, I guess, first of all, if there's any people that we should be talking to, whether that's your councils, whether that's other people in your communities that you think would be good people to talk to, and then also how you would like to meet, whether it would be, someone should be attending your council meetings, and that would be the best way. If it would be, an in-person meeting at another time, meeting over Zoom, or whatever that looks like, and what will be the best way to meet with whoever it is that we should be meeting with in your communities. So I'm happy to take any feedback on that now. Can also put my email address in the chat as well, and make sure that, Patrick has that too and can give that out if you want to follow up later. But definitely open to hearing any feedback on that now.
Any feedback?
And just to note, I had a little summary that Mark was able to put together for me, just sort of outlining what they're looking for and what the end goal here is. So I'll send it out to the entire board along with Mark's contact information. So again, if anyone's interested in sort of having that separate conversation on a community specific basis, whether in person or on Zoom, let me know or let Mark know, and we'll sort of let you take the keys and go from there. But definitely a worthwhile initiative, and I look forward to continuing this conversation and seeing that final presentation. And again, any questions, please, this is the time.
Mark, what are you looking for from us specifically?
Yeah, so I think basically just getting an idea, a better sense of, first of all, how your community uses 65, what that looks like in your community. We know it's different in different communities. It looks different. It has different uses in different communities. Some there's businesses along, some it's more just, you're using it to commute. And then I think, what some of the concerns are. I know we talked about some of those. I know some of those are in the report. But whether it's safety, whether it's kind of having that community, feel to it, with the entrance and exits, whether it's, just kind of the appearance of it, whatever that may be. And then I think if there were any impacts, further down the line in Manchester, whether that looks like, lowering 65 or any changes that might be made to kind of integrate those communities better in Manchester, this Manchester Chateau neighborhood, it's who we're working with, understanding what impacts that might have on your communities, whether that's positively or negatively. So I think that's the basis of what we're looking for. I don't know, Ramona or Dana, if you have anything more to add, but.
Nope, that was a great summary, Mark.
Go ahead, Art.
Aleppo's adjacent to 65. However, it happens to be adjacent to this fact where 65 and 79 intersect. At the top of the hill, you have North 79 Industrial Park, which has some pretty heavy traffic going in and out of Amazon there. And so I think that's I'm not exactly sure how that would be impacting, or I'm sure it wouldn't be hurting, it's gonna be impacting somehow. And but it is something that I think should be looked at.
Yeah, that's a good feedback. So there's like an Amazon warehouse in that area then.
It's a
Okay.
large warehouse, and the industrial park is sizable.
Okay, got it.
Sorry, Mark, I don't know if you can tell, but from your screen, but I can't tell who's talking. It's just like a bunch of squares. So I couldn't take down the note from who said the note,
think
the last note. But
So that was Art Williams, delegate for Aleppo Township.
Aleppo, yeah.
thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Any other thoughts, feedback? Alrighty, well, again, I'll send out that information following the meeting tonight with that little summary of sort of this initiative and the contact information for Mark. So thank you again for hopping on the call. Sorry for that. I guess I must have got the links mixed up. My apologies for that, but thanks for sticking around and hopping on the call tonight.
All
Yes,
right,
thank
yeah,
you.
thank you.
I believe we in Listel already had this conversation with one of your colleagues, Lejeune Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
she already
Yeah.
reached out, great.
Actually, yeah, we actually just talked to her today. I just wanted to commend you. It was a productive conversation and she asked very good questions. And I think we were able to provide some pretty good information.
Yes.
Right.
Wonderful. Yeah. Lejeune is on our subcommittee. And
Yes,
so
wonderful.
we already have some people out in the communities having conversations. And so she said that she was going to try to meet with individuals. And so we're happy to hear that she already took that opportunity.
Great.
That's awesome.
Thank you for that, Maria.
Okay.
Anything else? Perfect. Thanks again, guys.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Moving on to the grant status report.
Yeah, so it's bidding season and construction season out there. So we've had two projects since our last meeting go out to bid, with bids being opened. Very competitive pricing. Really happy with the results. Have another project out for Edgeworth Borough as we speak, which will be opened up in a few weeks. So we're going to be seeing a lot of musical chairs here with updates, things disappearing, things popping up. But again, I just encourage everyone to sort of follow along here. If you see something in your township or borough that's sticking around the report a little longer than it should, that's a good conversation for us to have, to see what maybe there's missing paperwork from the engineer or payrolls from the contractor or whatever the case might be. But again, this report's just as much for you guys as it is for me, just to keep you in the loop of what's going on grant-wise in your communities. So be happy to answer any questions, but I think the last month has been extraordinarily productive, and see where everything's going to go as the construction season continues.
Keeps you busy. Okay, hearing any comments or questions? Okay, moving on to the director's report.
Yeah, some exciting stuff here. So it's kind of cleaning up where we left off last month. So first update's the tree adoption event, partnership with Tree Pittsburgh. So last month the board unanimously approved a partnership to give away 100 between 3 and 5-year-old trees exclusively to QVCOG residents. This is a registration-based event. It's going to take place on April 12th from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock at the Avalon Community Pool Swimming Pool parking lot. So it's right across the street from all the ball fields down there, their salt shed and public works shed. But Tree Pittsburgh has, I'll pull it up now just to kind of show everyone, and I'll share my screen for those on Zoom too. But it's a registration-based event and only 1 tree per household. So it's going to give you a list of trees, and I think they're already about halfway full up. So like once 25 maples are given away, there's no more maples. It's 25 of whatever other trees are going to be available here. So it's really important, if you have a specific tree that you're looking for, to register as soon as possible. So here's what the page looks like. Again, here's the available trees. It gives you a little detail sheet of like what this is, like what's a Carolina silverbell. I'm not sure, but it'll tell you here how tall it gets, where its ideal location is, what sort of flowers it'll have. And you just kind of add it to your cart, and it'll flag you if you're not a QVCOG resident. And then they get a little email saying, hey, thank you for your interest in Tree Pittsburgh. Unfortunately, this is an event that you can register for, yada, yada, yada. So I've gotten a few emails, like they've CC'd me on that just to let them know that, like, hey, we're trying to keep this for our community since we're paying for it. 10% of the trees will be reserved exclusively for Avalon Borough residents because they're the host community, and that helps us qualify for the actual grant itself, where we got that big subsidy for the project. But again, highly encouraged, like you said, like the dogwood apparently was a big deal. It's sold out. So if you wanted that Coosa dogwood, you're out of luck. But again, all the details as far as what's available and all those details can be on our website or by visiting treepittsburgh.org. Share it on your Facebook pages, on your community Facebook pages, on your community bulletin boards. We want to make sure this is full up before the event kicks off. Couple of things. If you're interested in volunteering, let me know. It's a 2-hour event. Really, it's a pretty fast-paced event where it's like people are coming, you're putting trees in cars, give them their cages, give them their stakes. It's pretty fun, especially if the weather's nice. But the nice tip is if you do volunteer, volunteers get first crack at leftover trees. Like say people registered, didn't pick it up. That's sort of your in where you might be able to get that Coosa dogwood or shagbark hickory.
How many were left last time?
Probably. Well, last time we had it was a little bit of a bigger event. There's probably about 200 trees, and there was maybe 15 or 20 left over. And like people literally line up, like they'll reserve trees, and they'll sit there the entire event and try to get first in line. Again, no trees left behind. They will be given away. It's just a matter of how many people don't show up for like the leftovers, if you would. So, but if volunteers do get first crack. So if you're interested in volunteering, we are looking for a handful of people to help out. It is going to be staffed by Tree Pittsburgh, so it's not like if you don't volunteer, but we'll mark you down there. On anyone else, let me know, and I'll get you on the list. And maybe, just maybe, you'll come home with a tree too. So,
But these trees are all indigenous to this area.
yeah, they're all grown actually at the Tree Pittsburgh facility down in Lawrenceville. So they harvest all the seeds from like local parks and local towns, and they grow them all on site. They're actually doing a potting event where like as the trees get bigger, they need to put them in bigger pots, and eventually they become trees that give away. But the same day as our event, they're having their potapalooza, where they're transferring from last year's pots to this year's pots. So
take that a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it catches everyone's eye, right? But yeah, if you're interested and can't go to this and want to go to that, you can check it out on their website too. Any questions on the tree giveaway?
No.
All right, on to the next thing here. So we have details in our hard to recycle event. So last month we also approved reserving a date in the calendar with the Pennsylvania Resources Council for our annual hard to recycle event. So we do have a date set, and off the top of my head I forget, but it says in the report here, it is going to take place on October 18th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So pretty much a year from when we had our last one. The location, we're hoping to have it at the Buncher Industrial Park again in Leetsdale. I reached out to their team a couple weeks ago, and then again a couple days ago. Haven't heard back yet. So if anyone's community may be interested in hosting one of these events, you're going to need a space to do it, but maybe we move it somewhere else. Reach out to me. We can have that conversation with the PRC team and see if there's a site that we can bring it to one of your communities. And again,
it worked real well down there.
It did.
That
I'm
was
hoping
like a
to-
perfect setup.
I'm hoping to keep it down there because it is sort of away from everyone, and there is a lot of cars, but hey, if they're not going to answer, we might need to take different protocols. But again, reach out if you have a place that might work, and maybe we'll move it down there. Next up, we have the Southwestern Pennsylvania Commission is having a public comment period for their Transportation Improvement Project 2027 list. So there's a survey, which is, I think, built in the report here, that you can take place. It's like 10 minutes. And basically, this is your opportunity. If you have a road that's owned by PennDOT, wink, wink, Route 65. If you have issues with, hey, it needs repaved in this portion, or we need restriped, or traffic lights, or we need a turn signal lane in whatever town, this is your opportunity to highlight that as an elected official. You can send it out to your other elected officials. The squeaky wheel will get the grease in these. And again, Takes like 10 minutes. That link's on our website as well. And any other PennDOT road, doesn't need to be Route 65. If there's something in your community that you want to see addressed, this is exactly the time to bring it up with them. So that's on our website. It's also in the report, the link here. I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that. Last but not least on the report, we have some news with our automated license plate reader cameras. So if you remember, this is a grant that we received about a year and a half ago, like August of 23. And we work with our police chiefs committee. The board ultimately awarded the funds to two separate entities. One is called PlateSmart. That is the network that sort of talks to all the different networks. And if a license plate's flagged in Beaver County and the police are looking for the bad guy in Swickley, it'll sort of all communicate with each other. So everyone gets 1 year of access. All of our police departments got 1 year of access to that free of charge. A lot of them already have it, but it just taxes another year. The other big chunk of the grant's the actual hardware, the cameras. So we had 5 intersections that were selected. They've already addressed, I think, the one that's in Bellevue and Avalon, so they're already installed. They're working their way down the boulevard here. Leechdale has 2, and Glen Osborne has 1. I know Glen Osborne, it's a unique situation in Glen Osborne because Swickley Police Department's the ultimate sort of administrator of it, but it's located in Glen Osborne. So like their communities are working together to sort of figure that out. I don't know if there's an update.
I worked on it this week, so yes, we're in the process.
So you'll see those, if you haven't seen them pop up at these intersections, they will, and keep an eye out again. These are becoming increasingly like essential tools for police departments. They really rely on it quite a bit. So I'm glad that we're able to get this infrastructure up and running. So yeah, it's good to see the money finally get spent and the result actually come to fruition. So that wraps up the report.
Great. Okay, on to new business. And the first item in new business is the admission of Ben Emon Heights Borough as a member to the Quaker Valley COG. And I know you've been working on this and talking with him, Patrick.
So this is really exciting news. First time I've had an opportunity to do anything like this, bringing somebody on board. So it started in January, I believe. Rick Wagner, you mentioned that he had some conversations with Ben Emon Heights, their neighboring community, about, they were just curious, what we did, who we are, what we could offer. And the initial conversations really centered around their waste contract. Theirs is set to expire at the end of this year. Ours is set to expire at the end of the next year. And they're like, hey, is there a way for us to work together on this? And we had those conversations. And to kind of summarize the garbage discussion, both solicitors, our solicitor and their solicitor, were like, we can't just add you on right now. In an ideal world, like that'd be great. But there might be some concerns there. Waste Management was all for it. They're like, sure. But
it's more business.
But the solicitors had some concerns, like they weren't included on the initial bid, even though there was some language that you might have been able to swing it. They're like, let's just not do that. And they're going to try to get a 1 year agreement extension or a 1 year service contract, which probably would be through Waste Management. So to bridge them over, they're joining up now so they can participate in those discussions for our next agreement. And then they're like, well, what else can you do? And highlighted some of the other programs we have. Grant writing, they work with the Ohio Township Police Department, which represents quite a bit of our communities as well. And they're like, you know what, let's do it. So they voted on March 11th to formally request admission. So I put together, like our bylaws say that we have all these forms and everything, which we didn't have forms. So I made a bunch of forms, gave them some letters. They completed them, passed the resolution, passed the form that I put together here, just kind of highlighting their contacts. So they would fall at the due scale of $2,662. Going to prorate that since they weren't a member for the first quarter of the year. And yeah, they voted to do it. They're all in, and we'll have to see them approved.
I'll take a motion to approve the admission of Ben Emon Heights Borough to be a member of the Quaker Valley COG.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
A second.
Oh, thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right,
Very good.
we'll let them know.
Yeah, we'll give them the formal. I already built our website page. All I need to do is hit submit. So they're already locked in.
A little time on your hands, eh?
We'll integrate them in, and like I said, all the maps and everything we have, all our forms, we need to make sure they're highlighted on there. So I'll start taking care of that this week. Let them know that we formally approved them. They have 2 delegates they've named. So I'll make sure that I have introductory calls with them. And their secretary as well. I reached out to her to set up a call just to
Right.
get her involved with our managers group too. So part 2 to that. Not related to Ben Avon Heights, but related to maybe number 17 of the QVCOG. So Sewickley Hills reached out after it's like one of their representatives, one of their council people went to a county workshop about grants. And the county was like, are you a member for COG? And they're like, no. Like, why not? They don't have an answer, but they highlighted that, hey, the QVCOG might be a good mechanism to apply and help your community with grants. So I did have a call Tuesday this week with that council person. So I will go out to their meeting on April 8th, introduce myself in person to their entire council. I sent them all the materials that we put together for Ben Avon.
Forms now.
Yeah, we have forms. I sent them the bylaws. I kind of went through like, hey, this is going to be really easy for you because I did all the work for the community we just admitted this month. And so yeah, we'll see where that goes. I think there was a really good productive discussion on Zoom, and looking forward to meeting their entire council, answering any questions they have. But I mean, again, anything could happen. But from that initial conversation, I wouldn't be surprised if we're here in the next few months with another, formal vote to bring somebody else on board. So yeah, we might go from 15 to 17 real quick.
So who does their police work for?
Ohio Township as well.
That's what I thought.
And again, it's
I
sort
thought
of
so.
it's like a seamless fit. Like there's a lot of similarities.
Mhm.
They share a school district with all the communities. They're already a member of us. They share representatives, state senator, state representative. So there's a lot of, it's an easy fit. So we just I'll do my best to close the deal on April 8th. And
How
Okay,
big are
Patrick.
they? What's the population?
so Ben Avon Heights is 400 and Sewickley Hills is 681.
Okay, about the same as Kilmar, close.
Yeah.
They a borough or township?
Both are boroughs.
You get left out all the time.
Do you need
You get
approval
lots
to
of-
proceed? I don't think so. I didn't think so. Okay, next on our agenda is,
That's right.
I've been waiting for this bird town.
Yes. So a little background before I introduce Jim here. So last year at the Allegheny League of Municipalities Spring Conference, which is coming up in a few weeks for this year, the number one thing that I heard everyone talk about, and I didn't get a chance to go to it, was Bird Town. So it's a qualification. Your community probably does a lot of the things already, but it's a certification to get some notoriety and some good publicity. Bellevue and Avalon Borough are already bird towns. And I wanted to introduce the group here to Jim Bonner. He is heading up the Birdtown, Pennsylvania initiative, and he works for the Western Pennsylvania Audubon Society. So, Jim, if you're still on the call, please feel free to take it away.
Patrick, thank you so much for inviting me here this evening and giving me this chance. I don't know if you have the ability to allow me to share the screen because I have a very short PowerPoint I can present.
The floor is yours. The screen is yours. Yep.
All right. And as I go to make sure I do this correctly, there we go. Perfect. And first of all, let me just say how much I appreciate being here this evening and Patrick asking me or allowing me to be here. And second, to mention as a former elected official, as well as chairing currently our planning and EAC committees in Tarentum, I appreciate all the work that all of you guys are doing. I can empathize and sympathize with everything you've got to put up with and talk about traffic and stormwater and salt contracts and everything else. So again, I appreciate the fact that you're putting in all this extra time in the evening. As Patrick said, my name's Jim Bonner. I'm the executive director of the Audubon Society of Pennsylvania. I don't know how familiar some of you are with us, but our mission is connecting people of Pennsylvania to birds and nature, and we do it through our programs, projects, and places. We are an 8-county kind of primary service area, including Allegheny and all the ones around us. And we've been doing it for more than 100 years. We were established back in 1916. And we've got about 3,600 local supporting members, 20 full-time staff, and a budget of about $2.75 million. We have two programs that I just wanted to highlight this evening, and they are kind of sister programs. One is our Certified Backyard Habitat one, which we launched back in 2018, and the other is Bird Town, which we just got involved with last year. Our Backyard Habitat program, it was modeled after a program that was started in Portland, Audubon, up in Portland, Oregon. We launched ours in 2018, and it's a way of helping individuals make a change in their own backyard. And what it involves is us sending a staff member out to their home, looking at their property, discussing with them some of their goals and activities. And this can work in any space. We have people with 10 or 20 acres, and we have a couple of condominiums in Lawrenceville that have a patio or a porch where they have some potted plants on it. We do a site visit. We create a custom report for them. There are 5 categories of action that we ask them to look at, and that includes trying to reduce threats to birds, using native plants, managing stormwater, keeping their cats indoors, a whole host of things. And depending on what they do and how much of it they do, they earn points, and they get up into one of 3 different certification categories. And of course, they get a sign. You can never underestimate the power of a sign. People get really motivated to try to make sure they earn their sign. And we like to say this is a certified program, so you don't get your sign unless you achieve all of the steps involved with it. As I said, this program is on the kind of the personal level and the backyard level, but we've wanted to do something for a number of years on the municipal level. And we started developing our own program, but then got connected with Birdtown, Pennsylvania, which has been around for now, over a dozen years, but was only in southeastern PA. And we worked with them for about a year to kind of modify their program to meet our goals, and we modified some of our goals to align with theirs, and decided that it would be better to have one commonly branded statewide program. And the mission of Birdtown, PA, is that it works in partnership with local municipalities and other organizations to do community-based action to create a healthier and more sustainable environment for birds, wildlife, and the citizens. So what is it? It's a statewide community recognition program. It's been around for about 12 years. It's now part of the National Bird City Network. There are some programs like this in other states, and we're all working collaboratively to try to do some of the same things. And basically, it encourages, supports, and recognizes communities for their efforts to be more bird friendly. And it's now in Western PA. So why birds? Well, ecological importance, first of all, on the downside, we have lost about 3 billion birds over the past 30 to 40 years. Birds, tend to come and go. They're short-lived, but the net loss has been tremendous. And this is not taking into a report that just came out about 2 weeks ago that unfortunately is a little bit more dire. Why is that important? Well, birds are a key biological indicator. The old adage, the canary in a coal mine, what happens to a bird is probably going to happen to us. It just happens to them first. So if we can take care of birds, we're probably taking care of ourselves. There's also the economic impact. You cannot underestimate how popular birds are. A report that came out, it was just published last fall, but it was based on data collected in 2022. $107 billion were spent per year on birding and bird-related activities. That's everything from bird feeding to bird houses to traveling to go looking for birds to binoculars to across the board. The economic impact of birding is tremendous. They also save us a lot of money. They are nature's pesticide, rodenticide, and sanitation crew. Small birds eat lots of insects that we might find that are pests to us. Birds of prey will eat the rats and mice and other things we might not want having in our community. And certainly turkey vultures and others are out kind of being the road crew, picking up things that may have been killed on the road. So they actually save us and our municipalities a tremendous amount of money. But for me, it's really the human connection. That same report from 2022 said that 96.3 million people identify as being a bird watcher. That may be in their backyard. That could be, again, traveling locally, nationally, internationally to look at them. That's 1/3 of the US population. And here in the kind of the mid-Atlantic area of Pennsylvania and New York, it's over 50% of the people spend some time looking at birds. It's second only to gardening as the top pastime in the United States. And their appeal crosses every demographic, whether you're talking age, gender, race, socioeconomic, religious, and yes, even politics. People love birds. And for those of us that work in, communities and community relations, if we can find something that over half of the people agree with, that's a great start. And you can find middle ground, and from there you can go on to talk about other things. And so for me, birds are both kind of a means and an ends. We want to protect them, but we also want to use their popularity to do other good things for our community. So Birdtown is a kind of multifaceted program, and there are actions in multiple different areas. Certainly, there's what the municipality itself is doing, whether that's on municipal green spaces or your buildings, your practices. It could be your ordinances. Just the past couple of weeks, we've been working with the city of Pittsburgh, who's going to be introducing a new ordinance that allows people to have natural landscapes in the city of Pittsburgh. Right now, they do have ordinances that says nothing can be over 6 inches tall and a few other things that are outlawed, but there's a lot of people that want to create small little, whether it be meadows or pollinator gardens or other things that are technically illegal, but the council wants to make them available. So we're helping them develop some new ordinances. There's things that can happen within your school districts and working with youth education. That's a big part of what Audubon has been doing. Last year, 32,000 people went through a program with us. 19,000 of them were students. And that could be in-school programs or field trips, online programs, just trying to empower and engage the next generation to help take care of the earth. There's community and individual engagement, and that's where things like the Certified Backyard Habitat Program or other people engaging with things like the adopting trees, as you mentioned, or perhaps doing litter pickups or other things that help make your community a little nicer. And then there's kind of everybody else. There's your faith-based organizations, your businesses, your other civic groups. What are they doing to help, again, the environment within your community? And then finally, advocacy, which for me, advocacy is primarily education and awareness. Everything from the impacts of stormwater or lights, particularly during migration season, lights in a community can cause problems, or again, outdoor cats, as I mentioned, and a few other things that could cause challenges for birds and other wildlife. So how does Birdtown work? There are a few steps you have to do to become involved. And as Patrick mentioned, Avalon and Bellevue have already very nicely did this. They were two of our earliest communities to get involved with the program. The municipality has to pass a resolution to participate, and we have some model language for that. They have to form a committee. Now, that could be a newly formed committee, or it could be an existing one, such as a shade tree commission, or a Parks and Recs group, or an EAC, an Environmental Advisory Council, or any other type of group you might have. Wilkinsburg, which joined last year, they had a pollinator group helping to do green space enhancement, and so that became their Bird Town Committee. There's an application, and we have staff members and other people who can help with that. It's fairly easy to do the application. It just talks about some of the things you've already done and some of the things you might be thinking of doing in the future. And there's a $100 application fee. And the good news about that is Audubon Society has some grant monies to help cover the application fee. It is a 4-tiered program. The green entry level is once you're accepted, you're at the green level. So after you do the resolution, form a committee, complete the application, you go through a small little screening. One of my staff member conveniently sits on the application committee, so he will preview those and ensure that you pass the first round through. And then after that, depending on the activities that you do over the next year, you will get points in a number of different categories and can move up to the bronze, silver, or gold level. We just had 6 of the 11 communities that are now in Western PA move up to another level over the past month, including a couple that moved all the way up to the gold level. So they did some tremendous amount of work, and we're just excited so much to see them. You will get a list of potential goals and activities. These are purely suggestions. It's really a long list of all kinds of things you consider doing, everything from doing some native plant gardens to putting in certain type of nest box activities, or dealing with the glass that might be on your municipal building so that you can reduce window strikes, to a whole host of different activities. It's completely up to the community to pick what they want to do. We're just here to help facilitate and assist it, and perhaps even be able to provide some funding so that you can do it. There's also the opportunity for multi-municipal collaboration. The organization does send out a Birdtown flyer. It's a bi-monthly e-newsletter for the Birdtown leaders that talks about things that are going on across the state, or gives you some ideas or success stories and some networking opportunities. There's Bird Beat, which is a community e-newsletter to inspire your residents, gives them ideas on things that they can do around the home or in their backyard or inside the house that would be good for birds. And then we do conduct a private Facebook page for people that might want to interact or ask questions of others. And we do what's called clutches, which are where a variety of communities get together to, again, share best practices. It's very much like a COG, where you can get together and collaborate and share and just kind of learn from each other. And we'll be holding our first clutch a little bit later this summer. So in short, what is Birdtown? It's a statewide structured program with common goals. There are concrete resources and achievable actions. There's a framework, and there's lots of conservation partners that are involved with this. We work very closely with a number of the agencies across the state. I'll even mention that I was doing a presentation in Penn Township up in Butler County that was going through a new comprehensive planning process. The DCED representative was there, and she got very intrigued with this, and is finding ways for DCED to include Birdtown as one of their metrics in the comprehensive planning process. Penn Township did adopt becoming a bird town into their comprehensive plan. We do have trainings and workshops and a variety of online learning that goes on throughout the year. And there's opportunities and success in obtaining funding for your programs. And here at ASWP, we have dedicated staff time to help the communities here achieve their Birdtown recognition. We have funding to help pay for the registration fees. We initially had funding to help 14 communities and sponsor them, providing the technical assistance and $1,000 mini grants to apply towards goals. And I'm excited to say, just not too long ago, the Pittsburgh Foundation was very generous and funded us to do more work, particularly for any of the economically or environmentally challenged Allegheny County communities. So we will be able to provide $1,500 grants to communities to do projects, and the ability to offer up to $100, or excuse me, 100 certified backyard habitat programs per year that will include both the staff visit as well as a starter plat or two of plants to get their native plants things going. So we're excited that we have some additional funding for that, and we're continuing to search for more. So with that, I know I just really ran through this quickly, trying to be respectful of your time, but if you have any questions, I would be happy to try to answer them.
I do have a question, please. Maria Napolitano, Leedsdale. I'm glad you mentioned feral cats, because from what I can see, this is the absolute biggest threat to birds in our area. And I'm going to say not just feral cats, but any outdoor cats. What do you recommend on the municipal level and level of ordinances? And again, try doing something with people's cats, and it's not going to really, it's really not going to go anywhere. But what can we do here? What can we do here as a borough?
I'm down on the other side.
I will tell you that the outdoor cat issue is we always kind of internally joke it's the third rail of environmental and animal. There can be no doubt that they are one of the most significant, if not the most significant challenge to bird mortality. Habitat loss fits right up there, but cats take anywhere from 1 to 3 billion birds a year. The numbers are phenomenal. And I'm a cat lover. Full disclosure, I'm the former director of the Western Pennsylvania Humane Society a couple of decades ago, and have worked very closely on cats and the outdoor cat issue and feral cats. And so I completely get it. I'm a cat lover, but I've always had indoor cats. It's education, it's engagement, it's trying to find a way to find a middle ground. And that there are things called catios. These are these kind of little outdoor pens that you can connect up, and the cats can still be outdoors but not hurt cats. Unfortunately, a lot of communities are faced with people trying to champion TNR, trap, neuter, and release, where you have a colony and you try to trap all the males or cats, and you either sterilize them or do surgery on to spay them and put them back out. Conceptually, that's a really good idea, but functionally, it doesn't work. And that I would love it to work, but there's nowhere that it's ever worked unless you've been on an island or a contained environment. So what you have to really do is work on education, encouragement. It's interesting. 30 years ago, there used to be a lot of stray dogs in Pennsylvania and Allegheny County, but there was a really, really concerted effort on licensing, on leash laws, on a whole host of other things. And we don't have strays in this region anymore. In fact, when I was with the Humane Society, we almost never had puppies because responsible pet ownership had risen to a good level. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened with cats, and it's a societal issue. It's just a real challenge. I don't have the solution, but I know it can't be confrontation. We have to find a way to work and help people understand that. And at least move towards trying to restrict the number of outdoor cats. Love to talk with you offline or work directly with your community on things that could be done. Each community is unique, and so I don't think there's a easy one solution. And unfortunately, again, as a cat lover, it's so detrimental to the cats. They don't live as long when they're outdoor. They're subjected to disease, to being hit by vehicles, to being harassed and everything else. So it's not good for the cats and it's not good for the rest of the environment. But it's a tough one. I don't have a great answer.
More coyotes.
There isn't one.
Coyotes are, yeah,
More coyotes.
we do have coyotes around
There
here.
are nature abhors a vacuum, as they say, and some things come on. I have some colleagues from around the country, including one in San Diego, who used to say, we don't have a cat problem because we have a coyote problem. I don't want to get cruel about it, but that's kind of how it works out.
Yeah, yeah.
More bald eagles.
Mr. Bonner, I have a question. This is Roberta from Avalon. My dear, wonderful councilmate, Beth Mosley, is the one that brought the bird town to us. And we've really enjoyed it. In fact, we have a former councilwoman that has one of the certified backyards. Ruth Lloyd, and she loves it. She loves gardening. She loves her bird watching, and she's really so loves the program. But I had a question. You were talking about one of the communities through the DCED kind of put it in their charter or something about the birds and as kind of an environmental bellwether. Could you tell us more about that again?
Sure. This was Penn Township up in Butler, and they were going through their community process of gaining information and working on a new comprehensive plan. And we actually have a center up in that community, our Suck Nature Park. And we were asked to come in and talk about environmental issues as they were looking at that portion of their comprehensive plan. And we introduced the idea that they had done a number of good things. They have a wonderful municipal park. We're based there. They have some other fairly well-designed ordinances in place. And we suggested, hey, you should consider becoming a bird town. And that would then encourage the residents to do more things. It would involve the school district a little bit more and be a little more comprehensive. And the community members there asked questions. We talked about it, and throughout the discussion, the DCED representative got very engaged with this. This was one of the people whose focuses on the comprehensive planning process for municipalities. So we eventually, Penn Township did agree to put in a concept. One of their goals was to become a bird town, that they would begin to do that immediately. And that the DCED representative looked at that very favorably, followed up with me afterwards about saying, how can we more institutionalize this so other communities could do this? And as we all know, if DCED supports something, there's a good chance there could be funding that comes along with it. And so whether that is for additional trail space or stormwater management or anything else that you can put into an environmental perspective, there's a better chance for funding.
Oh, thank you, because we're in the middle of rewriting our comprehensive plan again. I don't think it's been done for 10 or 15 years. And it's going to cover a couple different communities over here, Bellevue, Avalon, and I think Ben Avon. We're all writing it together. And the Bellevue and Avalon are already the bird towns.
Yep.
If there's any more information that we would need that you think would be good that I could present to them, I would surely appreciate it and be able to pass it along to the proper people.
I'd be happy to send up to both you and Beth, and if we can
Okay.
get Ben Avon involved as well. I mean, the idea of having multi-municipal things, because birds don't know borders. They don't understand boundaries. And so if you're able to do something in a comprehensive way, whether that's physically or with engagement with the public, it's just that much more of a benefit.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Patrick, could you get that information and put it on our website and
Yeah,
certainly have it out there? And maybe since some people are already bird towns, if somebody's interested, you can contact them and see what they have done.
absolutely. And Jim, if you could, I'd love to take this presentation and put it on our website as well. If you could forward it over to me.
Sure,
And
absolutely.
yeah, again, I could definitely direct any questions from any board members over to Jim, or I could send out that presentation and Jim's contact information if you do have any questions for your community to get you on board with Bird Town.
And thank you, Jim, for your presentation tonight.
Sure. And
was
just
great.
as an open invitation or open offer, whether it's myself or one of the other staff, are more than happy to meet with your committee if you have an EAC or if you have a parks group that want to talk about this. Or I have gone to a number of council meetings to present to them, even do a short version, so that they understand that, ask any questions just to help you along with the process. That's why we're here. I am a very competitive person. I've said this previously. There's a number of bird towns over in southeastern PA, and I can't wait till there's more here in western PA than they have over on that other lesser side of the state.
So hopefully we can help you get that to that goal. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks again for all you guys do.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay, moving on to old business. Does anybody?
Nothing
Okay.
for me.
Okay, Patrick, we're ready for the concerns of the delegates.
Let's mix it up a little bit. We always start at the top and go down. We're gonna reverse it today. So Nate, what's new in Stokely Heights? We'll come back to Nate. Maria, what's new in Leetsdale?
One moment.
Sure.
Yeah, do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, not much. We are going to have on the 26th of April a really cool event, which is like a outdoor beautification cleaning up event. It's our traditional Earth Day cleanup combined with a Tree Vitalize planting. This is our third planting with Tree Vitalize in partnership with Western Pennsylvania Conservancy. We'll be planting 10 huge big trees, mostly in Henley Park. So everybody's invited. It's at 9 o'clock, starts in the community room, begins with a breakfast for volunteers and then ends with the lunch. So we also at that meeting, at that gathering, we'll have information available about our active transportation planning grant that we're applying to, an active transportation program. So like some information on that, what we're hoping to achieve there. So some of those things. And I wanted to ask the membership something that I've learned. Last weekend, I visited attended the PRPS conference, the Parks and Recreation in Hershey. I only could stay for a day, but we did go to a couple of seminars. So one of them was really interesting. It was about using AI for park and recreation work. And so long story short, there really isn't like any special AI application for Park and Rec yet, but from all the many AIs now available and quickly evolving, people and organizations individually are kind of figuring out a way to apply. In particular, one of them stood out for me. It's either Placer AI or City Data AI, which gives the same information. It's a subscription-based program, cost about $10,000 to $12,000 a year, and it can help the municipality or the wider area capture visitor data for all the community events. Very, very granular. Where are you from? My guess is probably based on cell phone registrations or something. So demographics, where they're from, like how often they visit, all of this. And all of this can be used to, track your event attendance, for project justification, for marketing, for any kind of thing. So I wanted to ask, does anybody use that in their borough? And if not, Patrick, is that something we could consider getting as a group membership for QVCOG members so that we could take we could harness this power to, improve how we serve the community? Because I can tell you, Leedsdale would love to do these things, but I don't think we could afford 12,000 a year for this kind of thing. But maybe together we could.
If you could send me over the information that you the two different companies, I'd be happy. I always do like little demo calls individually, and then if there's a fit, I could bring them to like a board meeting as on Zoom, and everyone can take a look at it. So yeah, I'd be happy to do a little research for you, and if you just forward over those two businesses, and I could start the conversation.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Okay, that
Okay.
pretty much concludes my report.
Very good. Dawn, what's new in Lee?
Not much per usual. We're waiting for the weather to finally stabilize enough to finish up the work on the War Memorial Park project. We do have some monies from that grant left over. So we're looking into new playground equipment for one of the areas, possibly a new gazebo, and so on. But the project itself, really, they've done a terrific job. Yeah, so it's really neat. We've got quite the young population, at least into the Fair Oaks area. So that's really revitalized and a lot of kids, and that's always good to see.
Mhm.
So
Very
that's
good.
it.
Daryl, what's new in Kilbuck?
Nothing. No.
Isn't that good though?
Oh, you're up.
Same.
All right. Barbara?
Well, the buses are now running again down Beaver Road. Many of you may not even know that they stopped on Beaver Road only through Glen Osborne. Because it seems like we had a bridge by Mary Roberts Reinhardt Park, which is a county bridge. And we put signs up in Glen Osborne on a tonnage limit on both sides in an effort to stop big semi trucks coming down Beaver Road. Well, it seems like the tonnage limit was too low to really put the new electric or hydrogen buses across the bridge. Now, the bridge could take the load, but it was the borough who put the tonnage limit there. So we put out to solve this whole thing, and it was okay by PennDOT. We went through the whole thing. It now has the tonnage limit signs are still there, but it says accept buses. And when we put that up, the PennDOT buses are running down Beaver Road again.
How long was the service down?
For about a month.
About a month. Okay.
Yeah.
Oops.
They went out one day and just put signs up that there will be no buses at this bus stop. All the way through Glen Osborne.
Imagine that ruffled some feathers.
And we went, what?
It's called the law of unintended circumstances.
Yeah. So anyways, that is
Yeah.
our biggest news. The buses are running again.
Very good. Paul, what's new?
Nothing.
All righty. Alan? Well, let's see if Alan, not sure she's still on, so we'll move on. Tavia, what's new in Ben Adam?
I don't think we have any updates this month.
Very good. Dan?
How's the elevator coming?
Oh,
I think it's supposed to be finished May, June. They've got the elevator shaft completed, I believe, now at this point. So
Moving to
I think-
inside work instead of outside work now?
yeah, I think they're probably going to be starting on installing the actual
Okay.
elevator. Yeah.
Makes me happy. Thank you.
Dan, what's new?
Hey, everybody. Same as a lot of the other communities, not a lot happening in Bellevue right now, which is a good thing. Our biggest thing is we've got a new nonprofit that has popped up in the borough. And them wanting to do events on top of the events that we already have existing. It's figuring out how to balance between the two. So that's something that council has been, tossing back and forth. And then we're still working on those potential referendums that we'd like to get on the ballot for updating the number of years you have to be a resident before you can run for council here. So not a whole lot going on, but just enough to keep us busy.
What's the name of the nonprofit, just out of curiosity?
So you've got Bonafide Bellevue. They've been in existence for a few years, and then now you have Bellevue Forward.
So they're different, two different places. Okay.
Two different places, yes.
Very good. All right, thanks.
Yep.
Let's see. Nate, if you're still there, you're up.
Yeah, can you hear me, Patrick?
I can.
Okay. Our biggest news, and I think Ellen would probably report on this as well, is PennDOT with Allison Park Construction started their work on Way Hollow Road on March 3rd. And this is a project that'll take most of the year, but it'll reconnect. It'll rebuild the road that reconnects Swickley Heights to Edgeworth and the Swickley area beyond. So we're pretty excited about that.
Very good. All right. We are with Avalon. Roberta.
Hi, everyone. How are you? I actually have a lot of updates. I was kind of making notes all through the meeting. Excuse me, everyone. Declan, I'm on a meeting right now. So June 14th, our pool is opening. I don't know if I had a date last month when we were talking about it. Last year we closed. We weren't even open for the season. And Bellevue was very gracious and gave us their resident rate. And we crossed our fingers and prayed and got a really great grant to help reopen our pool, because we wouldn't be reopening it this year had we not gotten that grant money. They're relining it. We're getting, I don't even know what all we're doing down there, but lots and lots of stuff. So our community is very excited. We appreciated Bellevue. And we have a lot of residents from Bellevue that go to the Avalon pool preferences and vice versa. But we can all walk to the Bellevue pool, Avalon pools. So a lot of people are really excited to have it back this year. Let's see. At our meeting the other night, our streets and safety meeting, Chief Meyer from our volunteer fire department gave a report, and he said that we have 7 people going to volunteer fire school, which is really awesome. I think it's like 5 months. It's very intense. But we've got 5 people going through it, and he's really excited to have these people coming on board. As we all know, the volunteer fire department membership is really falling by the wayside all over the country. So that was good news. We have an Easter Bunny egg hunt coming up on April 5th. If anyone wants to pass it along to their communities, it is free to register by March 29th, $3 by the 4th, and $5 on the day of April 5th. There's an egg hunt, face planting, a clown. We have it every year. It's actually at the Borough Building and outside and around. And there's a family that hosts it every year. It's not us, it's not Avalon that does it, but they've been doing it for years upon years. We're very grateful to have them. And we're doing our Ben Avon policing. We've taken over their policing. They had approached us about this, some time ago. Talks started. They were unhappy with OT. I don't know the reasons offhand personally. And so we did get that contract into place. And I just wanted to report that that's going well by all accounts. And hold on, let me see if I have anything else. No, just that we do have some of the certified backyards for the bird town. And I think it'd be really great if we could get everyone on the COG involved, especially if the DCED is looking favorably upon that for grants and stuff. So I'm glad everyone's interested. That's it.
Very good. Thank you.
Good.
Mhm.
right, your last up.
Okay, two things quickly. The 29th, which is tomorrow, I believe. They're having-
No, next week.
Next week, I'm sorry. I've been doing that.
It's okay.
Anyway, on the 29th of the month, they're having the grand opening of our pickleball.
Oh, my goodness.
Which is,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been long awaited. And it's an open time to come over and take a look. It's a brand new building. They're going to have half of the building is going to be the pickleball. They have either 8 or 11 pickleball courts, and they have paddleball courts. And so they're going to open it to the public and go over and see it, visit them. Unfortunately, I can't be there. I'm going to be going someplace else, and I was looking forward to food. So anyway, I think it's going to be a great addition to Aleppo because, as I mentioned earlier today, we don't have anything in Aleppo that is entertaining.
Mhm.
We have lots of cash and we have lots of other things, but this is the first
Where
entree to
is it,
that.
Art?
It's off of Deer Run Road.
Okay.
If you know where the where we vote, if you know where that is. Uphill from that, it will be the first road turning in on the left.
Oh.
And it goes back in there and you'll see a Greek large silverish building back in there. They have big signs up. So show up and enjoy yourselves. Secondly is for Masonic Village. Eric, who has been with us for 16 years, is our general manager, has resigned and is going back to Chicago with his family because all his kids are out there. And there's not been an announcement on it, but I happen to know that his second in command is going to be offered the job. She is has been running all the nursing facilities up on the hill. As Tracy Legier, I don't know whether you know her or not. But anyway, you will shortly.
Very good.
We're very pleased for her. She's a hell of a nice lady.
That's great.
Good.
All right. Anybody else in the call that didn't go, or anyone in person? Any final thoughts?
I had a question for Art. Are the pickleball courts like open to the communities? Are these membership? Can we come play? I don't know how to play, but
Yes, you can. It's open to the communities. It's going to have memberships eventually. They do have a small store there where they have the equipment. They do have a professional person that will help you learn how to use these dangerous tools. So they're very excited. I've already had them up to show them Masonic Village, and they were amazed because I don't think we're probably no more than 300 yards apart, but it's all uphill. So there's going to be some interesting opportunities back and forth between our people. When I made the announcement about that this is going to happen at our monthly meeting, I thought I would hear resounding silence. Not at all. People came out of the chairs. Wow! Oh my God!
Yeah.
People love pickleball.
Yeah, they do love pickleball.
Oh yeah. So show up. It's
Yeah, I'll check that.
Nice.
6 to 9, and it's convenient. Big parking lot. Everything is taken care of.
Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah.
Right on. All right. Anything else?
Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move.
All right.
A second.
Perfect.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
Thank you.
We'll see everybody.
Have
Thank
a
you.
good
See you in April.
night.
Yeah.